want to start?
Yeah, you want to start.
This is a wing.
You're going to start who you are first.
This is John and this is Guy.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Where are we starting? We got a lot of stuff out. Takuma. Here we go. Takuma.
What are we talking about?
Wing foils for winging, but crossing over into prone, and you might say wake foil, because a lot of guys that wing wake foil end up proning,
Kite.
often give up, go back to wing.
Kiting.
Kiting crossover, yep, all of them.
We're not talking about the windsurfing stuff. Not this one. Okay, Takuma, French brand. Pretty good stuff. They got the little nodules in the front, humpback whale style. We see our other video on that. Really changes the stall speed of these wings, so increases it. And you've been using these quite a bit.
Yeah, so extremely efficient for a bigger wing, really fast. They seem to drop the drag with these wing tips, reducing the vortices we think, and this helping the water flow. It breaks the water surface. It's amazing. This is a 1210, that's a 1440.
And then they do
980 below on the 7
for beginner stuff. The heliums.
Helium 1500. It's amazing.
It's a good go-to wing, the 1500.
Yeah, for winging, one of the best, and this is one of Michael's favourite for wing.
If you don't know Michael, he's the random voice.
All the time telling us what to say. Yeah, but Takuma, like for a big wing,
big wings,
they handle speed and they're super smooth and they roll over a lot more aggressive than some foils. They don't turn flat. They can really, you can throw them around, but they downwind are insane.
Now, if you've made it this far, you obviously want to hear more of this stuff. So like the video so more people can see this content, and mostly so it can help them to check out all the wing stuff that's around in the marketplace and floating around on the internet as well. Let's have a look to your left. Axis. Axis is what I ride at the moment. Axis is what you ride.
It is, yeah. I've been on it the whole time. I've jumped across to a few other foils and come back to this every time. It's definitely got a wing for everyone. We pretty much have this one, the HPS, High Performance Speed 980. I'd say for a beginner, you don't want to start here. You want to start with a BSC over there.
A little bit deeper on the BSC, which stands for Broad Spectrum Carve.
Broad Spectrum Carve, that's a 970 there. And to be honest, like a lot of guys could get going on that for their first wing right up to 95, 100 kilos. There's one above at 106, and then there's one above that at 1120. Do you need it? Yeah, really light wind at 100 plus kilos you might go the 1120, but that 970 at, what is it, 15 something area, 1570 is a pretty amazing wing.
It's really a good go-to for anyone. The average 85 kilogram, up to 90 kilo, like my size, gets you up and going nice and easy. Put like a 5.5 or 6 meter wing in your hands. Good setup.
100%. And if you didn't want to buy a red fuselage and go to the BSC, you can go straight to like the 105 HPS, which a lot of our Sydney guys are doing. They're buying a black fuse with a HPS 105 and making it work. And we're finding that whole high aspect thing you can't learn on. That's not true. You can. You just got a slightly slower stall speed.
So these Axis have so much product in the range that some guys get confused. So when we say the black fuselage versus red fuselage, it has to do with the thickness of the head. So the wings that run the red fuselage are a little bit thicker through the front, and they've got a thicker, basically, chunk of metal, which is the red. On the black one, it's shallower, so in order to run a thinner wing. A thinner wing also produces a little bit less lift down below, but it gives you more top end speed. So, I mean, we got little stuff, like this is your baby.
This is beautiful too, yeah. This is some of the ART range. This is pretty much what I use in every condition now. It's not so good on light wind days, and if you try and get it up too quick, it'll stall. These wings you got to pump up flat, and once you get them up, they're very efficient. They have no drag, but that's a tow wing, prone wing, and kite wing. It's pretty much my go-to wing, but not for everyone.
And what do you weigh
Bigger
now?
guys, I'm 71. Bigger guys are at the 899, and a lot of guys, on the flat water and starting out are riding the 1099 and the 999, which are got the most amazing glide and efficiency for pump. They just go forever. So
what tails do you throw in?
So progressive tails are starting to really take off across the whole axis range, used with the BSC, PNGs and the HPS. So these little progressive rings, 325, 350, 75, 400, 425, and they've gone right up to 475, are pretty much becoming some of our most popular wings. I'd say
pretty much the standard, unless you're chasing speed.
Yeah, that's right. So these are carved, these are maneuverable, they're really nice to carve. We tow with the little 325 or the 350. I find them really efficient. They're thinner, less cord, they're faster, less drag. They are pretty much a wing you can get to replace all those old flat ones without the tips. And I think this is going forward where, yeah, most guys are looking. But
so fuselage length is another thing that people always ask about. They go, oh, well, we want, you know, they have a set number in their head that they think they need.
Ultra short is the main one you use with the ART range, and most guys are going to say you have to use the ultra short with this range. I agree. I had the short on it, put the ultra short on it, it really carves, it's maneuverable, it's 100%.
But for straight line, getting going and speed winging, would you want to go?
Once you get used to that, fine, but the short, yep, for everyone. And for beginners, the short, you don't need the standard anymore.
Our main fuselage in both the black or reds is this short.
It's the new standard. There is one bigger than the short.
But that's kind of, you know, it's going back in time. You know, it's a couple years old, the standard, because we used to use bigger gear because that's what worked. But, you know, everything's getting smaller and smaller.
There's crazy shorts for crazy people, and then one of the guys on our flat water's ripping on the crazy short. And it's for a prone guy that really wants to
get tight.
Rip turns, yeah. And
mast length is another issue. Mast length is, most companies have a variety of masts that you can choose from in different heights. 75 centimeter is
where you start?
Pretty much where you start. That's kind of our number one. Then Axis have a few others. They got what, 82 and then a 90.
So for winging, we're talking about foils for winging. Start with the 75. If you've got deep water, go straight to the 82. Most guys are going straight to the 75 and then 82 12 months later.
Yeah, and also if you're in a choppy area, it's like choppy bays around here, we have, you know, Moreton Bay where Brisbane is, and Sydney. A lot of guys there will go a little bit higher mast to get above the chop.
Yep, 90. And the mast height we should talk about. When you go to the 90, yeah, you bounce backwash off your big cliffs, and choppy waters is what a lot of guys are finding they need. I've even had guys with 82s go, I got the 90 and it was way better. Yeah. I find the foil's really deep, so for me, I was on a 75 for way too long. I've recently taken the bloke behind the lens there's advice and gone an 82, and it's working. When you roll a 82 over though, it does take someone used to a 75 mast a bit to get used to the actual distance you travel, but I'm used to it now and it's great. You hit the bottom on low tide in waves spots though, and some spots where we have are really bad when you get stuck getting over the back brake or you get washed in. My 75 goes over it beautifully.
Like
so I'm
wingfoiling and subfoiling, and the 75 works well because even on the 75, I'll be standing there in the surf when I'm on the stand-up foil, and I just feel clunk, 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 clunk. I'm standing on the sand on the bottom. So yeah,
true.
You just
when it's really small 1 foot waves, your 75 actually touches on a really small day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're in conditions where you've got deep water, go to 82. You could go straight to it to learn. Don't be afraid. It actually gives you more distance to make mistakes. So 82, I think, for a lot of wing foil guys is where you could start going forward now. I think everyone's going to look at that length. That's basically 85 there.
That's a big one there, yep.
Yep, there's 72 here. Armstrong. This is epic little... This is one of the most lightest, sexiest carbon foils we sell.
So if you're not aware of the Armstrong brand, they only do full carbon, every nut and bolt and screw on it is titanium. They are that's it. There's the only option is the best option. Their range of gear is pretty extensive now.
Yep, so you've got your HS wings, which are pretty much in the 1550 and 1850, bigger version of this one. This is the little 1050 we tow with.
So the HS high speed stuff.
High speed.
That's our, that's the main one we're doing. They do have a few others. That wing, the high aspect stuff.
Yep.
So this is that's the 925. They now, which is 925 square centimeters. They now do, the biggest is a 1525, which is way bigger, light wind, massive glidey one. But that's where you're going to go to after you go, say they're...
So back to the 1850 and the 1550, I think for wingfoil is their go-to. I used to ride this and it's amazing as well. It's amazing how light wind I could get this going in. Not that it's a big wing, but the 1550 guys are getting going in 12 knots pretty comfortably. If you go the 1850 for 90 plus kilo guys, it's where you start.
That's the one.
These for your more experienced 6 to 12 month guys and on winging, you could go to these. Once you go to these, you're not going to like riding your slower wings though. So if you get the full, don't learn on these. For winging, it takes a while.
You struggle picking it up and just...
If you do learn on these, don't bring them up quick. Bring them up flat. Pump them up. Don't point the nose of your board up because they'll stall out. So you got to keep the board flat and pump them up. These are amazing though for prone crossover, tow, and the little 725.
Yeah, speed and glide.
Yeah,
speed and glide. But pretty cool that their only options are top end. Fanatic, the big F. This is the Flow, the 1500. That is what you're going to get if you're learning to wing. That's you want the Fanatic gear.
It is everything, I reckon. It's slippery, it's smooth. It's, I reckon, 40% lighter than their previous foils.
Which is kind of surprising because they do a thinner one. They do a more high aspect. But the fact that this is such a quick wing is
slippery.
Is kind of surprising.
Yeah. Everything's been reduced in weight. That's the main thing.
And you can really feel it when you pick it up compared to previous versions. They've taken quite a bit of material out of the fuselage especially. But it's super stiff. The way they have it locking in, that's a really stiff alloy setup.
Yeah, even compared to Axis's 19mm, it's as stiff, if not more.
Now you do buy these a bit different because the masts and fuselage come as kits as well as the front and rear wings come as kits. But you can pair them up pretty simply. Like that's a 75 on there, and that's a 68, which is their not the shortest, but it's their shorter. It's the one you get. 68. Huh? They do a shorter one, don't they?
I think so. No, that's shortest. No, your product.
My first
day. That's the only one. That's the one.
This is the one you want to get because I know the bigger one gives you an option to have a second placement, but it's like you're just dragging around extra stuff and it's too big. So like we do a lot of gear here. We've kind of done the hard work for you. We've tried all this stuff. We know how it works. We know how it feels. Basically, feel free to contact us.
Yeah, have a chat. I'd happily take either of these 3 or 4. I would, if I had a demo of that, ride all of these. These are actually the 3 I ride and love, and I'd say for your crossover wings for winging and proning, these are the 3 foils that do it all.
Yeah, so if you're local in Australia, give us a call. If you're international, shoot us an email or drop a thing in the comments, and we'll get back to you and we'll just help you out and give you our feedback because we're 2 guys. We got other guys in the shop here. We're all different levels. We're all different sizes, and we've done enough of this because we sell so many to know what works for who and for what sports.
100%. And if you want crossover foils, we don't just sell it for wing foil. We're talking wake foil, prone foil. We have we can see where you might go depending where you live, and you can talk to us about crossing over into these other disciplines, which every one of us that wings is doing.
Once you start one, it's easy to get into the other because it's most of the same gear.